A few weeks ago, I released the Do-It-Yourself Investor Toolkit, and I believe it is one of the absolute best tools for all types of investors, but especially dividend investors. So in this video, I'm going to be going over some updates to the spreadsheet, showing you all the features and going over exactly how it works. So let's go ahead and jump into this and look at some of the features. If you'd like to be able to download the spreadsheet or any of my other spreadsheets, then you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. And right here, we're currently looking at the very main tab for the spreadsheet, and that is the investment dashboard. You're going to essentially be able to see anything you could ever want to know about your portfolio on the spreadsheet. If we come up here, you can see we're tracking portfolio value, our portfolio cost, dollar gain, and percent loss. And remember, all of this is automatically being tracked by things we put into our other tabs. But if we come over here, we can see our stock breakdown, our dividend income yearly, we can see our crypto breakdown here, and our cash position here. We have all of the notes that we need right here, and we can see our total holdings listed right here. We then have our allocation by asset right here, so we can see our stocks percentage, crypto, and cash percentage. Right here, we're able to see how markets are moving currently. So we're gonna be able to look at things like the Dow Jones, the S&P 500, or the NASDAQ. And if we click one, we can see our 2-year chart and how it's been performing today. Now over here, we have a pretty important chart. We can see our allocation by each individual asset. So we can see how much we have into crypto like Ethereum or into any of our stocks like EPD. If we come over here, we have two pretty important charts as well. We have our cost and market value. And so we can see our cost compared to our market value, and over here we can see our growth by each individual investment we have. Now, two of the new features that I have added is my stock allocation by industry and my future portfolio outlook. Obviously, our stock allocation by industry is a really important chart to look at if you want to understand the diversification of your portfolio. It's going to allow you to know where you may have some potential risk within your portfolio. Now, this is a feature over here, my future portfolio outlook, that I'm really glad I've added. I think it is a phenomenal feature. So essentially what we're doing is we're able to see how much we're going to be making yearly in dividends, what our total dividend income over that time period, and what our total portfolio value will be over 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, and 30 years. And this is all automatically tracked based on one of our tabs over here, and we can look at what it's going to look like based off of not reinvesting dividends and when we do reinvest dividends. So this is a really cool tool. It's super important to understand if you're a dividend investor, if your goals are realistic, and what your time frame is going to be. And this is what this future portfolio outlook allows you to do. Now let's go ahead and move forward and look at our dividend dashboard. I'll go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. This goes into our dividend portfolio in just a little bit more depth. But you can see here we're tracking things like our expected yearly dividend income, our all-time dividend income, our average monthly dividends, and our portfolio dividend yield. It allows us to see our portfolio value over time, our historical monthly dividend income, our dividend income by industry, our dividend yield on cost for each individual stock, and our dividend income from each stock. And again, all of this is being automatically tracked and will update automatically. Now moving forward, we have two charts, or two methods of tracking dividends that I think are pretty important. And I think right here what we're looking at, our dividend calendar, this is one of the most underused but most important ways of tracking your dividend income over time. And let me explain why. First off, it's going to allow you to see your dividend income month over month, as we can see right here, and it's going to allow you to see how much each stock is paid out in dividends right here. But most importantly, it's going to allow you to see your dividend growth over time. So if you are a value dividend investor like me, you're likely to continue to invest into dividend companies, and those companies are going to continue to increase the amount they pay in dividends, and you're probably reinvesting those dividends, so those dividend payouts will increase. So if we take an example, a monthly dividend paying company, we can see in January they paid out $12.57, $13.23 in February, and so forth. You can see how that dividend is increasing over time. So I can see at the beginning of the year, I received $12.50 in dividends, up to now $17.51. Now keep in mind, this is example data I have listed here, but this is a really good way to see your dividend growth over time. Now moving forward, I also have my daily dividend calendar, and essentially this is just going to allow me to see which day of the month each of these stocks are paying me dividends, and so I can see, what days I'm getting paid the most, what days I'm not paid any. Just another cool way to track your dividend income. Now moving forward, we have a stock watch list, and this is actually one of the most important features of this spreadsheet, but I'm going to actually come back to this one later and I'll explain why then. Now, if we come over here, now this is where we start having some manual input, but most of it is completely automatically tracked, and we have our stock holding tab and our crypto holding tab. So if you add a stock or crypto to your portfolio, all you would have to do is insert the stock ticker right here. So let's go ahead and remove CAT right here, and we can see that if we come here and we plug in this data here, let's say we bought CAT, let's say we bought 10 shares at a purchase price of $200, and I hit enter, And we can see all of this data is going to automatically load in. We can see our price, cost, and market value. We can see our change over time. We also have our 1-year trend line, and then we can see the dividend data on this investment right here. We can see the yield, our dividend payout, and how much dividend income it'll bring in yearly, and the industry that this company is in. And then we have our stock breakdown up here, our market value, our dollar gain loss, percent gain, and our yearly dividend income. And right here is where we can manually input our cash position. Now, if we jump over to our crypto, it's kind of the same scenario. All you have to do is plug in the crypto that you have invested in, and you're going to be able to track all of that data automatically. So you can see just how easy it is to add a stock or crypto to your portfolio and for it to be automatically tracked. So if we jump back over to like our investment dashboard, we can see all of this will be updated automatically based off what we put on our stock and crypto breakdown. Now let's go ahead and keep moving forward. The next tab we're going to look at is our portfolio projection. And this is a really cool way to project forward what your portfolio is going to look like. And if we jump back over to our investment dashboard, this is what our future portfolio outlook data is going to be based off of. So what you put on your portfolio projection will reflect on your future portfolio outlook. But let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit more. And essentially you're going to be able to see what your monthly dividend payouts will look like, your total dividend income will look like, and what your total value will look like over time. And we're tracking this over a 30-year period. If we come up here, all you have to do is plug in your variable. So you can see you can plug in your starting portfolio size. So let's say it's $30,000. You can say you're expecting price growth rate of 8%. Starting share price of 100, just leave it at 100 as that'll make it easier to track. Let's say you're planning on contributing $1,000 a month. So you can see you can add monthly or lump sum right here. And you expect a dividend growth rate of about 8% and a starting dividend yield of about 4%. And so once you plugged all of this in, all of this data will automatically load in. You can see you can project forward 30 years what all of this will look like. So we can see right here, we're looking at year 28, as we can see right here. So we can see exactly how much would be paid out every single quarter in dividends right here, how much our total dividend income would be over that time period, and what the total value over that time period would be as well. And we have a comparison of what it would look like without reinvesting dividends for each of these and with reinvesting dividends. And now that I've updated this, if we jump back over to our investment dashboard, we can see that our future portfolio outlook is reflected right here. So this is just a really cool way to see at a glance what your total or future portfolio will look like in the future. Now moving forward, we have our stock screener and our valuation models. And if you've watched the channel before, you know this is something I use very, very frequently to find the intrinsic value of a stock. So if we jump over here to our stock screener, we can see we have a stock screener where all we have to do is plug in the stock ticker and all of this data will automatically load in. We can see our dividend data, our moving averages, and all this data right here. And we have all of our valuation models. We have Graham's valuation, a discounted cash flow model, a multiples valuation model, and a dividend discount model. And all four of these valuations do roll into our valuation output tab, which makes it extremely easy to find the intrinsic value. Now, I know I moved through that very fast, but I've actually made tutorials on how to use these valuation models. Much of it is completely automated. It's a fairly simple process. I'll leave a link to the video on how to perform these valuations in the description. But we can see here we come to our current price. So let's say, for example, we found the intrinsic value of, we'll say CAT again. What we would want to do is we would going to come over to our, let's go over here to the left a little bit more. We want to come over here and click on our stock watch list. And what we do is all we need to plug in CAT right here. And we can see all of this data is going to automatically load in except for our intrinsic value. This is where you want to plug in the intrinsic value that you came to for the company that you just valued. So let's say we found an intrinsic value of about $270. Just as an example, I'll hit enter and we can see based off of this what our intrinsic value plus our margin of safety is, and it will give us a signal as to whether we should be buying this stock or not. Now up here is where you want to plug in your margin of safety. So currently we have a 0% margin of safety, meaning if the signal is buy, that means the intrinsic value is higher than the current price. Now, as a value dividend investor, I always apply a margin of safety to my investments. So let's say I wanted to apply a 10% margin of safety and hit enter. You can see all of a sudden some of these companies are no longer buy scenarios. We can see we still have, let's see, about 4 companies that we should be buying. Now let's say we're a little bit more safer with our investments and we want to apply a 20% margin of safety. All of a sudden the only companies we should be investing in are listed right here. So you can see just how awesome this stock watch list is. It makes it very easily to track all of the companies that you've been valuing over time and to see when it's a good time to buy it based on your margin of safety. Now the very last thing that we do need to glance at, if we come over here to the right, something very simple, and that's just our dividend and portfolio value tab. And all we would need to do is plug in each month what our portfolio value is, and that will update our portfolio value charts. And if we come down here, you're just gonna come in and plug in each month how much you were paid in dividends. So let's see, for the next month, all I would do is list a month and list 22, plug in the stock, plug in how much they paid me in dividends, and the date that they paid me, and all of our charts are gonna automatically update. So you can see just how easy it is to use this do-it-yourself investor toolkit, and you're gonna be able to track everything you could ever wanna know about your dividend portfolio, your stocks, your crypto, and your cash position. You're gonna be able to see your future portfolio outlook and have some really phenomenal charts to better understand the allocation and diversification of your spreadsheet. If you're interested in downloading this spreadsheet, then you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment down below. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.